The celebrations of Marc Marquez's seventh MotoGP world title have come to a dramatic halt, as the Spanish superstar was diagnosed with a fracture to his right shoulder or collarbone following a violent crash in the Indonesian Grand Prix at Mandalika. The accident occurred on the opening lap of Sunday's race, when Marco Bezzecchi, winner of Saturday's sprint, made contact with the back of Marquez's factory Ducati at high speed through turn 7, one of the fastest corners on the circuit. Both riders were sent tumbling off track, but while Bezzecchi was able to walk away relatively unscathed, Marquez remained on the ground in visible pain, clutching his right arm, the same arm that has defined his turbulent career since 2020.
Welcome to GP Time. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates.
MotoGP's medical director, Dr. Angel Chart, provided the initial update to DAZN, confirming that Marquez had sustained a small fracture but was otherwise stable. Marquez is fine, with slight pain. He has trauma to his right shoulder. The X-ray we took shows a small fracture, said Dr. Chart. However, the full extent will only be confirmed once he's back in Europe. It's the same arm that has undergone multiple surgeries, and there may be factors complicating the diagnosis. A CT scan in Madrid will determine whether surgery is needed. Adding to the confusion, Ducati issued a separate statement referencing an injury to Marquez's collarbone, not his shoulder, a distinction that may have been lost in translation during the frantic post-race updates. As a result of today's crash in Mandalika, Marc Marquez has suffered an injury to his right collarbone. The Spanish rider will travel tonight to Madrid, Spain for further medical tests and to decide on the treatment to follow, read the team's statement. Meanwhile, Ducati team manager Davide Tardozzi confirmed to Dorna Sports during the race that scans revealed evidence of a break, though he too referred to it as a shoulder fracture. There is evidence of a break on the right shoulder, but we need a CT scan to investigate deeper and understand if it's necessary to do an operation or not. Speaking to DAZN after being released from the circuit's medical center, his arm now in a sling, Marquez appeared calm but, definitely weary, acknowledging the risks of racing while trying to downplay the severity of his condition. "I can't say I'm doing very well, but considering how bad it could have been, I got off lightly," he admitted. "It looks like the ligaments in my collarbone are torn, but that's just a preliminary assessment. I'm flying to Madrid tonight, and I'll get a thorough checkup to see what's going on." The 31-year-old Spaniard also showed his trademark sportsmanship, refusing to blame Bezzecchi for the crash despite the clear frustration on Ducati's pit wall. "These things happen in racing," Marquez continued. "One day it happens to you, and another day it happens to someone else. Bezzecchi hit my rear wheel, but these things happen. He came to apologize to me. Now, whatever the doctors say, that's how long we'll be recovering." The crash marks Marquez's fourth consecutive non-finish at Mandalika, a circuit that just seems cursed for the Spaniard. Since the track joined the MotoGP calendar in 2022, Marquez has never managed to finish a Grand Prix there. Suffering a violent high side in 2022, missing the 2023 race due to injury, and now exiting the 2025 edition on the opening lap. The incident also casts a shadow over Marquez's otherwise spectacular season. Having clinched his seventh MotoGP World Championship just a week earlier in Japan, Marquez was riding a wave of momentum, his first year with Ducati proving to be a resurgent campaign that re-established him as, one of the sport's all-time greats. Now, his immediate future is honestly uncertain. Depending on the results of the scans in Madrid, the champion may need surgery or an extended recovery period, potentially ruling him out of the next races in Australia, at Phillip Island, and Thailand at Buriram. Meanwhile, Marco Bezzecchi was quick to apologize to Marquez after the incident, visibly distraught in the paddock. The Italian Aprilia rider admitted his mistake, saying he misjudged the braking zone while battling through early traffic. Ducati, on the other hand, faces a bittersweet moment celebrating the constructors' dominance while watching their star rider head home injured. Team insiders suggest that the factory will prioritize Marquez's health over any remaining 2025 appearances, given his long-term contract and the team's focus on defending both riders' and manufacturers' titles in 2026. Marquez's medical evaluation will take place at Hospital Ruber International in Madrid, where he has undergone previous operations. There, a specialized orthopedic team will determine whether the fracture requires surgical intervention or if conservative therapy will suffice. MotoGP fans now await an official update from Ducati and Marquez's camp in the coming days. The injury may not only affect his current campaign but also disrupt his early 2026 testing plans, a crucial period as Ducati prepares upgrades for next season. How big of a setback do you think this injury will be for Marc Marquez? Should Ducati consider resting him for the remainder of the season, or will the champion's fighting spirit push him back on track sooner than expected? Marquez was violently thrown from his GP25, his right foot clipped by Bezzecchi's Aprilia before he rolled several times through the gravel trap. Spectators watched in silence as the Spaniard remained down, visibly clutching his right arm, the same limb that has haunted his career since the catastrophic Jerez 2020 injury that required 4 separate surgeries. Medical staff quickly arrived on the scene. While Bezzecchi was able to walk away under his own power, Marquez was slow to rise and appeared in significant discomfort. He could not remove his helmet, instead locking his right hand against his stomach in pain as he awaited assistance. Moments later, Bezzecchi, visibly shaken and remorseful, ran over to check on Marquez, who appeared to gesture toward his shoulder or collarbone, a worrying sign for the 8-time world champion. As of the latest update, Marquez has been taken to the Mandalika Circuit's medical center for further evaluation. Ducati officials confirmed that the Spanish rider is undergoing scans to assess the extent of the injury. This latest incident comes barely a week after Marquez clinched his 7th MotoGP world title at Motegi, capping off a spectacular comeback season that saw him return to peak form aboard Ducati machinery. The timing of the crash, just 1 week after his crowning moment, makes the accident all the more heartbreaking for fans and team members alike. Meanwhile, the race itself continued in chaotic fashion. Fermín Aldeguer, Saturday's sprint race runner-up, currently leads Pedro Acosta after 9 of the scheduled 27 laps. Should the 19-year-old Aldeguer hold on to victory, he would become the youngest Premier Class race winner in MotoGP history, breaking Marc Marquez's long-standing record set in 2013 at Austin. Elsewhere, Marquez's teammate and 2023 world champion Francesco Bagnaia also crashed out earlier in the race, suffering a low side at turn 10 while running inside the top 6, compounding Ducati's difficult afternoon. The Indonesian Grand Prix has proven once again to be a brutal test for riders, with blistering track temperatures and treacherous grip levels catching out some of the grid's biggest stars. As for Marquez, fans around the world now wait anxiously for official confirmation of his condition. Should the injury prove serious, it could jeopardize his preparations for the 2026 MotoGP season, where he is expected to continue his partnership with Ducati in pursuit of even greater records. MotoGP's medical team is expected to release an official statement soon regarding Marquez's diagnosis and whether he will be cleared to race in the upcoming Australian Grand Prix at Phillip Island next weekend. Do you think this crash was just an unfortunate racing incident? Or did Bezzecchi push too hard too soon? And what could this mean for Marquez's momentum heading into the final stretch of the season? Make the background music sport.